Hey coin collectors, and welcome to the DC Coin World International coin channel. Today it's the 1960 silver Franklin half dollar. These things just in melt value alone are worth 20 bucks now. So we'll take a look at these. We'll talk about the value of the ones like this that don't have any special collector's value. We'll talk about the ones that are very, very collectible, and we'll talk about the incredibly expensive ones and the error versions of this. And there's some very interesting error coins for the 1960 Franklin halves. First, let's just talk about this half itself. In 1960, they made the coin at two different mints. They made the coin at the Denver Mint, and you can magnify it up, and right there above the bell on the back, there's the Denver Mint. They made the coin at the Philadelphia Mint with no mint mark on the back, and then they made the coin at the Philadelphia Mint for the proof coins. And you can tell this is a proof coin. No mistaking this coin for this coin just because it's so shiny. It's actually, they polished it so much in the proofing that you lose some of the details sometimes, especially on the bell. No San Francisco Mint proof coins in 1960, just Philadelphia Mint proof coins. These coins are 90% silver. They weigh 12.5 grams. They have 0.36 ounces of silver in each coin, and they're currently worth, when I looked up today, $20.87. They also made these coins in proof sets, and of course that's the proof coin here. They made 1.7 million. The proof sets have one of each coin with no mint mark, and the current melt value of the proof set is $35. In addition, they made these in uncirculated mint sets in 1960. They made 261,000. So you'll have 1 penny from Philadelphia, 1 from Denver, 1 nickel from Philadelphia, 1 from Denver, dime from each, quarter from each, and a $0.50 from each. So the melt value of the set right now with a silver dime, silver quarter, and silver $0.50 is about $70 for 1960 uncirculated mint set. In 1960, they made 24 million Franklin halves, about $12 million worth. They made 92 million quarters, not that many really. They made 271 million dimes, 248 million nickels, and 2 billion pennies. The penny was big in use in 1960. I know we're not going to be making them anymore for circulation, but 1960, the pennies were a big deal. So let's talk about the different half dollars and how you can identify the valuable ones and what those values are. In 1960, they made 6 million half dollars at the Philadelphia Mint. The auction record for a Philadelphia Mint half is 28,200. And that's going to be a Mint State 67 with, sometimes they call it FL, or sometimes they call it FBL, full bell lines. At the Denver Mint, they made 18.2 million. The auction record for a Denver Mint coin is $12,075 for a Mint State 66, and that's also going to have the full bell lines. Now, if you want to find out where the bell lines are, you have to look at this coin here, and you see a little piece of line there. There's a couple of them, and they have to go all the way across there and at the bottom. On the proof coin, you can kind of see those bell lines pretty well. Let's get a little... If we measure it up a little bit, you see that there's 2 lines down there, and then there's 2 that go all the way across here. You have to have those full bell lines in order to have the best coins, and that's where you're going to get the $28,000 coin. For the proof coins, they made 1.7 million at Philadelphia. Again, these are all 90% silver coins, and all worth at least 20 bucks each. Because they only made 1.7 million, they made some really good ones, are worth as much as $27,600 each. In addition, there's a number of error coins out there, so let's take a look at some of those error coins. First though, let's start with this one from the Heritage Auctions website. This is the $28,200 half dollar, which was sold by Heritage Auctions in 2016. And you can see it has lots of toning on it, quite a bit of coloring. And if you look at the back, you see that it indeed has the full bell lines here. Across the bottom, the full lines, and across the middle, the full lines. And the writing is readable, even with the naked eye. When you have a coin that's this good, even if it has this toning on it, sometimes actually the toning makes it worth more. So don't ever take the toning off of it. Now, what about some of the errors? Well, here's one of them. This is a Franklin half-dollar overstruck on a Jefferson nickel. So this is $11,400, and the trick is that you can see the date. That makes these a lot more. You can see a little tiny bit of the nickel down there. And then when you get onto the back, you can see a little bit of the back of the Jefferson nickel on there. And of course it doesn't fit on there, and it does have the edges, and we know it's from Denver. And so if we go to this one here, you can see just how kind of misshapen. This is an NGC graded overstruck on a 5-cent double denomination coin, and that's the back of it. Next up, we have Franklin half struck on a dime. So this is going to be a little tiny thing. We don't know exactly which year of 1960 of the 60s it is. We only had 60, 61, 62, and 63. So we don't know which year it came from, but we do know that it's this tiny little thing, 2.5 grams. It's the weight of a dime, but it's a Franklin half on the front and back of that dime. Then there's the Franklin half struck on a quarter. So this one is definitely a 1960, and you notice it's quite a bit bigger. $1,840 for the best one. And there we see this has a lot of lines on it too. It just didn't go for as much as I thought it might, but it's only a almost uncirculated 58, so it doesn't have a high grading value, and perhaps that's why it isn't quite as collectible. And then finally we have one struck on a 1-cent copper planchet, and you can see the Franklin half there just doesn't even make any sense, and it's very copper, and it is actually cataloged as a Mint State 64 brown. They use a 1-cent cataloging and value, and it's worth $4,560. All right, let's get back to our coins. Okay, we're back to our 1960 Franklin half dollars. My advice for these would be you don't really need to sell them. They are worth $20-21 each, but because so many people are selling them right now, and it is legal to melt them down, a large number of these do get melted down because they go to secondary silver smelters to sell the silver. And so the 1960 Franklin halves are only going to get more and more rare as more people turn them in to get them melted. So if you got some out there, I'd say why not just keep them? They could get valuable in the years to come, but they're certainly going to get rarer and rarer if the price of silver stays this high or goes higher. All right, that's all we have today from DC Coin World International Coin Channel. We'd love to have you subscribe to the channel and leave any comments you have in the comment section.